everybody. I'm making a video tonight to speak more so to parents in this video, but of course, I always love connecting with kids too. So hi, my kinder friends. I just wanted to make a quick video to say you guys are amazing. You're doing it. I know this is like such a crazy time, and I have no idea, how long we'll be out of school realistically. But what I want to assure you is, even though this week is technically spring break, so there's no actual formal teaching happening, I hope that you are finding the learning possibilities emails to be helpful. And if they're not helpful, just totally disregard them. You know what's best for your child. You know what's right for your family and what will work for your schedule. And so I just wanted to look for ways that I can offer you resources that I'm being sent. All sorts of educational companies are trying to respond to this right now. And so my inbox is just flooded with all these different possibilities for learning, which is why I made an email titled that. And so I wanted to get some of those out to you. So please use them if that's helpful. If it's not, I trust you. I have had some questions from parents about what a typical daily schedule should look like at home. And I have some ideas and thoughts on that, although, I don't know what your household setup is, who's working, who's not working, who's trying to just wrangle the kids, what your family has already in their routine. But as far as just a general rule, I would say take this time to let your kids play. Take this time to get outside. Learning is important, but children are learning through everything that they do, especially at the age they're at now. So just keep that in mind. Don't be too hard on yourselves. What I can tell you is that PPS is requiring that teachers will be doing some online professional development training on March 30th and 31st. That's Monday and Tuesday next week, I believe. They have not given us a lot of knowledge or, a lot of details about what that's going to be, but I have a feeling that they're going to train us on doing some sort of online learning or at a distance learning or whatever you might want to call it. And so as soon as I know what that's going to look like, as far as what schedule we'll be keeping, I will let you know. I'm sure the district will let you know as well through emails. For now, I just wanted to say I think the most important thing you can be doing during this time is just like loving on your kids, going outside when you can, social distancing, but just getting some fresh air, trying out some of the activities that I'm sending out if that's helpful, taking advantage of all those, educational resources that are free at this time. There's been some amazing museums and different places that have some virtual field trips that are not usually free. So that's a possibility. But as far as the nitty gritty, I did send home some things in packets. I know some of you were able to pick up packets from me either at the park last Friday or from John, or have made special arrangements. I still have about 10 packets left. So if you haven't gotten your child's packet, if you want it, we can arrange that. And if you don't want it, that's okay too. But I just wanted to let you know, for those of you who do have your child's packet, I'm using Cascadia as an example right here. In the packet is going to be the handwriting booklet. And this is something that is just an easy daily task thing. If you just need a few minutes of peace and quiet, have your child do this and tell them that I said that they are supposed to do this, and you can totally blame it on me. But in the handwriting booklet, usually at school, what we were doing was 1 or 2 pages a day. And so what that will look like is, let me get to a page that's not been written on yet. It will start out with the letter, and it'll start actually, so this page is actually all about letter G, but in prior pages we'd worked on letter C. And the kids already know how to print letters, but this is just additional practice. So I always tell them slow and steady is the best for them. So I talk about that this is best work, this is practice, helping us practice our lowercase letters especially, since that's something we're working on using more. So I always tell them to trace the letters that are already printed on the page. Trace them. There's some words that go along with it, like magic C, and up to make an A. And so you can help them read these words that go along, this language that goes along, and help them trace. And they can trace either with their finger, or sometimes it's fun to have like a special marker. And then trace the ones down below, and then try there's these little dots, and that's where they're supposed to try making their own as best as they can. It'll have something at the bottom that says G is for goat. And a great extension thing to do is just have them write that word goat. Make that goat sound, G sound. On the back side of the handwriting page, you'll find more opportunities for uppercase and lowercase practice. Then some opportunities for reading and making the sounds that go with that letter. So you might have heard your child say something about a tap, tap, tap sweep, which is a reading strategy that we use in class, and I'll show you how that goes. Tap, tap, sweep. And when we don't actually say tap, tap, sweep, but I refer to it as that, and we read go. So we tap under each letter, make each sound, and then sweep all the sounds together. You might also know that in class we do something like this, go. And that's just a simple thing that you could be doing anytime, all the time, in the car, at home, when you're bored. We do that in class a lot. We'll do at, hat. Or sometimes we'll do it with our arm, at, hat. And I'll say take out the put in the p. What do we have now? At, pat. So that's just a quick example of some phonemic awareness strategies that I use all the time in class. But for the handwriting, it's always good to do a little reading with that. So go, and then practice writing that word 1 or even 2 times. And I see go is over here too, so they'll have a lot of practice with writing those words. And so there will be ones that have that are kind of more of what we call a snap word in class, a word that we want to know just in a snap, easy, which would be like go. And then there will be other words that have that sound in it, like goat, wag, tag, dog. Getting that practice of writing the letter, and especially the lowercase letter, but also finding the sounds of that letter at the beginning or end of that word. So that's something that you can have them do, have them do the front and back of a page every day. That would be a simple practice that would be good to get into. Another thing, some kids have these books called Explode the Code books. I was working on getting more of these ordered for the whole class just before the closure happened. So hopefully I'll be able to pick those up at some point. But for the kids that do have these Explode the Code books, there's different levels of them as well. But these are very simple, and we've been doing these in some of the reading groups. So something like this might be, it'll tell you the direction at the very top. It's very simple. This one is just basically to say the sound, say the letter T, make the sound turkey. Easy as that. And there's different exercises. It's really a sequential. So there's several pages that are about letter T. Some of it is handwriting practice again. Some of it is color in the pictures that have the T sound at the beginning. So toaster, or telephone. Some of these are a little bit old-fashioned, as you might see. Not very many kids know what that kind of a telephone is, so sometimes you have to help them out just a little bit. So that is something that you can have your kids do 1 or 2 or even 3 pages of each day, if your child has an Explode the Code book. Their journals, this is something that we have been using really only at rest and relax time so far. So this is something that, these are great because there's room for drawing beautiful pictures. Notice Cascadia's beautiful artwork here. But these are great for a template for writing. So a great habit to get into would be to write 1 page per day, or even more if possible. But I have told the children that we always use them from the beginning to end. So that means we don't just go throughout the journal and make one mark on every page, but we work really hard to fill up one whole page before we move on to the next and use the journal in sequential order. And so something that you could challenge your child with in these next few days is, look at all this beautiful artwork, is to find their next available open page, and each day you could ask them to make a story of some sort, so to write a story, or to write more journal style, like today I did this. So today I went on a walk. That would be a great sentence. We're working on writing whole sentences right now in kindergarten. So we're also working on putting finger spaces in between words and then stretching out the sounds that we hear in words. So instead of you telling your child to write T-O-D-A-Y, you might help them stretch out that word today and help them go t-t-t. Oh, let's put a T there. Ooh, ooh, ooh. They might or might not know that that's an O sound. D-d-d. Oh, that's a D. Let's put the D down. Day. A. I hear A. And they might not know that silent Y at the end, but that's really what we do in class, is that I really ask them to use their Brave spelling. So this would be a great place to do a simple writing time every day. I would say they can handle 10 to 15 minutes of writing. I expect that from them in class, and they do it. And so they should write a whole sentence about something they were doing, or something they saw, or somewhere they went. That might not be applicable right now, not going many places, but something that they did. Now, another great thing that this could be used for is, I talked to the kids about making magic line drawings. And a magic line, when you make a magic line, so if I made a magic line here, that might be, the magic line might be separating the hillside from the background sky. And when I say magic line drawing, make sure you make a magic line drawing to go with your writing. That's kind of a code word to the kids to tell them that I expect that they would draw the whole setting. They would fill in the background sky. They would fill in the hill if this is the setting that they're drawing. They would fill in people in the foreground. They might add details like trees or the sun or birds in the sky. And when I say magic line drawing, that means I expect it to be something that has a lot of detail. So that's something that they could be doing each day, is just using it kind of as a daily log of what they've been doing at home. Another great writing possibility, I sent home a few of these templates. These are story writing templates. So the top, so this one has a cover. I just see that this one doesn't, but the top line would be for the name of the story, then written and illustrated by. We've been talking about how every good author writes their whole entire name. And then of course makes a detailed picture at the beginning of their story. And so in class, we've been working on personal narrative stories that are true about yourself, something that already happened to you. I would challenge them to write a personal narrative, a true story about themselves. And with a beginning page, a middle page, and maybe another part of the middle, and then an end. And some kids were even catching on to the idea of making a chapter book story with each page being a chapter. I know one of the kids in our class right now is making a chapter book story of the adventures of his mealworms. So could be a true personal narrative story, or it could be an imaginative story. So that's something that you and your child could be working on together every day. And something like this might be a work over time rather than just a one-day piece of work. So I hope some of those things could give you some ideas of what to do at home. Some kids, I sent home some of these, they're called decodable reader books. And they were books that we were either working on in their book group or we were going to work on in their reading group. So something like this that we've been working on in groups and also as a class is really making sure that we're touching each word, even if we're not sure exactly how to read each word. But how I would teach this is to focus on a few words that I know are going to reoccur several times in the story. So I might say this book is called A Tap and a Pat. Let's all tap under each word and say that together. A tap and a pat. And then I might pick out two words that I know are gonna show up a lot in this story. The great thing about these books is that they have several rhyming words. So I might say, let's find that word tap, find that big capital T. Now let's tap, kind of funny with this book, underneath that word. Let's make the sounds. Let's tap and sweep the sounds. T, ap, tap. T, ap, tap. And I might do that 2 or 3 times. Now let's find that word pat. Find that capital P. Let's tap, 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 sweep that word. P, at, pat. And so I might pick out a few words that I know are gonna happen in the story quite a bit. And then as I read through the story with them, we would put our fingers under the words. We could even tap out some of the sounds that we don't know or some of the words that we don't know and figure those out together in that same way. So I hope that gives you some ideas. That was a lot of information in one video. I'm hoping to make some more coaching videos like this coming in coming weeks so that as we wait until that time of when I'm officially back to teaching in whatever capacity that may be, that some of these coaching videos could kind of give you some helpful hints for things that you could be doing with your child. Now, I just want you to know I do not expect anything. I know you're handling so much with juggling jobs and kids and keeping them busy and home lives and everything that's going on in the world. So I hope that some of these things were helpful to you. Definitely do not put so much pressure on yourself. Just do what's best for you. If it's helpful to use some of these strategies, great. And if you need to put that on the back burner for now, that's fine too. So thanks so much. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.